And, today's big day. Oh, you listen to TV tonight. Oh, it was powerful, riveting testimony today. Riveting. Trayvon Martin's mother took the stand. It wasn't riveting. The whole thing lasted 5 minutes where everybody knew what she was going to say. She gets up there and says, yeah, that screaming, that's my son. I know his voice, that's my son. Then Zimmerman puts their people up to say, yeah, that's Zimmerman. So it's a wash. It's not riveting. It's completely expected. The woman, she wants what she thinks in her mind is justice for her son. So, she'll get up there and say everything despite the neighbor, John Good, the $1 million witness who lived right there, who stepped right outside, who saw Trayvon on top of Zimmerman clearly, saw Trayvon hitting him mixed martial arts style, heard help, help, help coming from the bottom, and that was Zimmerman. Why would Trayvon be calling for help if he was on top pounding him? It's ridiculous.
Nothing.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean, when you compare this to the Jody Alvarez case, in terms of there actually being a case, it's like night and day. This case should have never been brought. It's disgusting. They should have at least charged involuntary manslaughter at best.
Listen to me. Let me tell you something right now. Step back. The manslaughter conviction in this case is an aggravated manslaughter because a gun was used. Right. Now you couple that with the age of Trayvon Martin. If he gets convicted of aggravated manslaughter, he's looking at 25 years in prison. He can't get convicted of manslaughter. They need a full acquittal, self-defense in this case.
And give me your take. Let's start with the prosecution team of Delando and Mr. Guy.
I don't like Delando. I don't trust Delando. And I think he played down and dirty. This judge is also playing down and dirty. I mean, the state's medical examiner says, in my opinion, and he says it today to the judge, sitting right next to her, in my opinion, the fact of the matter that Trayvon had narcotics in his system in the form of marijuana, THC, he had that in his system, that may have affected his ability mentally and physically. It may have, whereas earlier on I said it did not. That's another change he made. So he said it did. Once that guy comes to that conclusion, that evidence is admissible. And for the judge to preclude it is just beyond outrageous. And trust me, if this jury, if these are 6 complete morons on that in that jury pool, and I've seen them before, so if they're there on this jury and they convict this guy, I think that's reversible error.
Oh, absolutely. But like you said in the very past, Florida, they really don't play by the rules, right?
No, this is a state court case, and look, these people, it's very political. Everyone's running for election. They've got to do the right thing. This judge likes to think that has a reputation of being tough on defense. I'm tough on defense attorneys. You kiss my butt. Just do the law. No one asks you tough, nice. Just do the law when you sit up there if you know the law. And obviously, this woman does not know the law.
And she's
no really atrocious.
Richard. She's no oil painting.
Yeah. I mean, you got a man's life on the line here, and this judge is jerking around up there thinking she's, Judge Judy or something. She's not. There's laws and rules and regulations, and she's not playing by the book. Look at the distinction between the attorneys, the defense attorneys and the prosecutors. I mean, this guy O'Mara, he's a gentleman. He gets up there, and the other attorney, I mean, they're gentlemen. They listen to the judge. They acknowledge the judge. They're respectful to the judge. Anytime. Can we have a break? No. Can we adjourn one day? No. Then the prosecutor says, before they arrested, Your Honor, we need a break right now. Sure, Mr. Delorano, anything you want. Look at the tape today. I mean, it's so blatant. But, the jury sees that. And, that could piss them off. I hope it does.
What do you think of that she didn't let in witnesses to say that this is Trayvon's voice or this is George's voice? Do you think that
they
was
blew out? Well, that's the thing. She ruled the. Look, if she would have let the prosecution's expert come in and say, in my professional opinion, that voice was Trayvon Martin's scream and yell. If she would have let that in, then the whole case, if I was a defense attorney, I'd just walk out of the courthouse. I'd just walk out and say, fine, I'd get this reversed on appeal and it's all over. I mean, you can't do that. You can't tell someone scream and say who that person is based on a scream. There's no rules, there's no standards, there's no scientific tests that allow you to do that. So the only thing you're left with is for people to come in who know the person. And, they kept asking, do you know what the person sounds like yelling or screaming? Yeah, well, when? When they were a baby in the crib? I mean, Martin was 18 years old. Did you hear him when he was 18 years old yell and scream for his life? And the answer is no. The same thing for Zimmerman. So they don't know. These are families who love their children who are getting up there saying, yes, it's my son. It's got to be my son.
Gotta be.
Gotta be. So they wash each other out. Do you know who screamed? Do you know how this thing went down? Do you know in your heart of hearts everything that happened that night? Because when you say, no, I don't, that's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt, and it's over.
And there's going to be a lawsuit no matter what happens with these parents. I hate to say it, but I think they're after money.
Well, look, they're going to be advised by counsel what to do, and up in that area, there's a couple of real ambulance chasers who take down the front pages and back pages of the phone book and advertise on TV every 3 seconds. One of those guys was involved in the Casey Anthony case, handling the defamation claim against the maid, Zanny the nanny, who Anthony said didn't exist. I don't mean this person, yet they went ahead and sued her. So she blew it out in bankruptcy, and that was that. And I called that a long time ago. But anyway, Zimmerman, they want to sue Zimmerman? Good luck, sue him. He doesn't have anything, and if you get a judgment against him, he'll blow that out in bankruptcy. So they're not going to go anywhere suing him. I don't think so. I think this mother's an intelligent mother, Trayvon Martin's mother, and I think she's doing what she thinks she has to do to follow this thing out to the end here. And if it comes down and Zimmerman gets acquitted, I think it's a bitter pill, but, she's an intelligent woman, I think. I don't think she's, just pure emotions. And I think she goes back to Miami and she tries to put her life together. The other son seems like a gentleman, and, she moves on with her life. I mean, you can't continue to dwell on this every single day, and you could see the stress on all the family members, especially the ones that testified today. So this is grueling. It's grueling on everybody.
Oh, no question about it. And did you see the guy from Skype trying to get in there and the call was going in? That was
people were in tears. People were falling down in my office on the floor, screaming, laughing at this because they knew what was going on. Everybody in the world who knew this guy was Skyping him then. So there's no way he was going to be able to get that testimony off. And they could have easily gone to a Kinko's or some other facility and set up a video camera, and done a live video. But, this is what they chose to do. So I don't think we're ready for Skype yet in the courtroom.
Let's take a listen to Jane and we'll talk.
Heard this week from the prosecution star witness. You might call this next person the defense star witness, even though we're in the prosecution case. Prosecution witness John Good seemed to be more effective for the defense. He is the very first witness to testify that he believes Trayvon Martin was on top of George Zimmerman and striking him. Listen.
I could tell the person on the bottom had a lighter skinned color.
The color of clothing on top, what could you see?
It was dark.
Okay, how about the color of clothing at the bottom?
I believe it was a light white or red color.
All right, now here is Zimmerman in the red jacket that night. So what this gentleman essentially is saying, he saw the person on the bottom in a red jacket. George Zimmerman is wearing a red jacket. He also said in other ways the person on the bottom fit the description of George Zimmerman. So how bad is that for the prosecution? Look, this is the prosecution's case. And when you start thinking, wait a second, are we in the defense case or the prosecution's case, which sort of happened to me a couple of times today, that's not a good sign, Natalie Jackson, attorney for Trayvon Martin's family.
This is not bad for the prosecution. They have admitted that there was a struggle. So, I mean, it would be just as Michael said, there was a struggle going on. This witness could not tell you how this struggle started or who was the aggressor, who confronted who.
Well, I mean, look, and I'll throw to Wendy Murphy. You're a former prosecutor. You know fights don't just happen like this. As I saw my friend Ashley Banfield say, they go like this. So maybe at the time he saw it, Trayvon Martin was on top, but maybe previous to that it had been some other way or after that.
The jury is only going to do one thing to figure out who to believe about who was on top and bottom. They're going to look at whose clothes were wet. George Zimmerman's on the back. That's right.
Bam.
Who had the injuries? George Zimmerman. Who didn't? Trayvon Martin. And they're going to match that up with sometimes seemingly very nice people trying to tell the truth. It's not going to fly. Listen, let me tell you what's going on here. The prosecution had a terrible case to begin with, and it is going down so fast. I'm beginning to think the only reason the prosecution keeps putting on all these terrible witnesses is so they can say to Trayvon's family at the end, sorry, we did our best, but all those bad witnesses blew the case for us.
Richard, your thoughts on the commentary?
You know, Wendy Murphy and I never agree with anything she says, Wendy Murphy, ever. In all these years I've done TV with her. But you know what? I agree with her. She's 1,000,000% right. And she is nothing but totally blinded by prosecution position in every case. She's right. This was, and Jane Velez Mitchell is right. This was a great defense witness. What are you speculating? Well, maybe before he came out, the other guy was on top. Where is that coming from? That's not intellectual. That's fantasy land. That's bubblegum. I don't know what they're thinking. The evidence, the testimony was this. The other guy was on top. He had grass stains on his knees. Zimmerman was on the bottom. He had wetness on his back. This guy saw the guy with the dark shirt hitting the guy on the bottom with the red, who was yelling for help, who, he didn't help. He walked away. He left him there. He was afraid. It's like that guy in the Penn State case. Everybody's saying with a gray, I looked in the shower and there was Sandusky, attacking sexually the kid. So I went home and told my daddy, and then we called Joe Paterno. Really? Really? You're 6'5", 260 pounds. You didn't grab a baseball bat and go in there and save this poor kid? So now this is what happens here. But meanwhile, this is the test. This is the evidence, and it's brought out on the prosecution's case. It's brought out by the prosecution's witnesses. And John Good, believe it. When you listen to the summation, you hear O'Mara sum up. Listen to how many times he mentions John Good.